For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
Good morning and welcome back to your lofty station. As a Nigerian, every one of us is thinking about the next 38 days, about our elections, how we are going to change our lives, how we are going to vote for a new man that is going to run the helm of affairs of our beautiful country, Nigeria. We are talking about elections here. And elections, and you, the electorate, you are the determinant of who is going to rule us in Nigeria. And the idea is there are a group of Nigerians that are a factor that we cannot afford to negate. Are you thinking along my lines? It's quite simple. The Nigerians we're talking about are the youths of Nigeria. Honestly, if you want to check on our population, the percentage is more. If you think in terms of the electorate and those that are going to vote, their numbers is more. If you think in terms of all the shenanigans of politicking and those that are going to carry them out, it is the youths. They are more in it. Little wonder we have in the studio the ambassador of the youths with us, by name of Timothy Wachuku. My brother, you're welcome to the studios.
Thank you very much, patriots and passionate Nigerians. I love your love for the youth of this country.
Oh, that shows the verb you have in you, which is the verb of the youth. And my co-anchor here is Dominic Oyemese.
Very good morning to you, Ajit. Good morning to you, our guests. And it's nice to have you here again. I know the last time you were here, you just like you mentioned, very passionate about the youth. And hope that you'll be able to give us insight of what the youths stand to do to make a change in this forthcoming elections.
Yeah, like I said in my intro, the youth are a formidable factor in electioneering. Their percentage counts for something. Honestly, if all the youths should come out and vote one person, that person will win. But the problem with you youths, we are going to decipher them, we are going to break them down, we are going to make our viewers understand the way the youths operate. Let's look at the formidability of the youths and how it is put to use. Do you get my drift? How it is being put to use. The numbers that can swing the votes.
70%.
70%, you say. I'll take your word for it. How are you using it?
Well, I want to say that for the very first time since advent of democracy, since 1999, that for the very first time we've seen a growing enthusiasm across board. For the first time since 1999, young people have become much more interested in who emerges as the political leaders, not just at the presidential level, even at the governorship and at the local House of Assembly level. And I can assure you that it is no longer politics as usual. How do I mean? Looking at the INEC statistics, we discovered that the highest percentage of newly registered voters are the young people. That has one message to tell us that the young people have awoken. The Nigerian youth are no longer slumbering. We have realized that it is our future. That the elderly ones, they have spent their own youthful age.
Are you trying to push us out?
No, you are still a youth at heart.
Thank you.
I'm talking about the people who have occupied the corridors of power. Over 30 years ago, many of them were there since independence. Many of them fought the Biafran War more than 50 years ago. and some of them have played active role for more than 30 years. And they are the same people that were youth yesterday, they occupy political power, and at our time they are trying to occupy the political power in our dispensation. And I tell you, this is why the youths have awoken. That gave rise to the high number of young people that have registered to vote in this election. But it doesn't end there. Okay. And you understand that for the first time, you will see young people like us, youth groups, mobilizing, contributing our own money to support one or two candidates who will believe that has the interest of the youth at heart, who will believe that can give us that credible report.
Thank you. At that juncture, I love some factors you have brought into it. You are saying you have the enthusiasm to make things work out. One, two, you are saying there are a lot of people coming into the voter dragnet.
Yes.
But don't forget that some of you are just coming of age. We are in age, and we will be in age till we die. Most of you are just coming of age. So people that are turning 18 might be close to about 10 or 15%. But the idea is, I want to ask you another question about the factor of the youth. You see, when it comes to the element of being youthful and having a youthful heart and being physically a youth, in politics, there is the bad side of it. Sure. When it comes to thuggery, you find the youths. When it comes to violence, you find the youths. When it comes to, honestly, let me tell you this, when it comes to all the disruptions that comes into politicking, you find the youths in it. You might try and tell me that, no, it is you, the elderly ones, that are telling them, go and do this, go and do that. But like we said, they have come of age. They have a mind of their own to determine what they want to do. And like you said too, you are in a position to determine how Nigeria should go. What are you guys doing about the element of you being part of the bad factor in terms of thuggery and violence?
We've engaged in so much campaign, so much sensitization, and I will tell you that it is no longer going to be business as usual.
I would pray so.
And I'm happy too with the recent development of the electoral process. You know, prior to now, you talk about snatching ballot boxes. I'm happy that you won't have anybody who will be, there are no youth to be available to snatch ballot boxes because there are no ballot boxes to snatch again. Then another issue is about thuggery and disruption of the elections. And I want to equally use this medium to appeal to the youth. We must wise up. We must get sense. What do I mean? It is our future. It is about today and tomorrow. There is so much unemployment in the country. There is so much economic hardship in the country. For God's sake, why will I, myself, want to be used to disrupt the electoral process? At the end of the day, I will still complain that I am unemployed. We have thousands of graduates, over 14 million graduates who have graduated from university, and there is no job. So my message to the young people, of course, we're already sensitizing online, several groups, having several meetings, creating awareness on media, using different forums to pass this message to the young people, to tell us that we can no longer continue to be used as tools to disrupt electoral process, because this is injurious to our own future. We can't. And I must commend INEC for bringing the bimodal platform.
Beavers.
Yes, Beavers. INEC, kudos to INEC. Because of course, there won't be any ballot box to snatch. And issue that have made the youth to stay away from the electoral process, because in the past we believe that whether you vote or not, our vote doesn't count because we are using thumb printing. But now I must commend INEC because INEC have upped the game. Now our confidence in the electoral process has been reinforced, has been revigorated, and we know that our votes will count. Of course, you can see that prior to this time, you will see politicians going to beggars, going to where they're selling corn, going to where mama put joints to eat just to swear our voters. But it's no longer the same today. It's about issues and issues-based engagement with the people. You now see politicians going to town hall meeting. It was not like this before. It was enough for them to come to the stadium and promise heaven and earth and promise what they themselves know that they are not going to do. They don't even believe it. But now we see more of town hall meetings, one-on-one engagement, telling the young people, this is what we intend to do. This is how we want to do it. It is not enough to tell you that we're going to pull 100 million people out of poverty, but we want to move from consumption to production. We want to do this, want to do this, want to do this. So I think the politics is changing, because even the politicians know that the youths of today have awoken, just as I said.
Let me ask you this question before. I know you have so much to say about the youth as regards this election. But in your previous, the first question he asked you, and you said the youth have awakened. Now, at what point did we now realize that we can make a change as youth in this country? Because growing up, the normal adage we hear, the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. And we've been hearing that from the leaders who are ruling us now, rulers then. But at what point did you think Nigerian youth realize that, no, it is time for us to be on the driver's end or driver's seat to ensure that there is a change in this country? But secondly, if you look at those contesting for these elections, the presidential tickets, for instance, we don't have the youths we have there. They're not much. So how do you think you stand a chance to make a change? Or are we just going there to elect the same old people? Or do you want to bring in somebody young, like Bakare said, young at heart? Or you said young at heart? Or you're going to get someone who is really a youth to be on driver's seat?
Let me start with the second question. I must be very honest with you. We have 15 candidates of various political parties aspiring to lead this country. And we have young people among them. But to be honest with you, the truth is that some of those young people lack the political structure to win the election. What do I mean? None of them are not even known, across the 6 geopolitical zones, even the Federal Capital Territory here. And we will not deceive ourselves. We know what the vote means. We know the power we have. So what we're doing now is that we know that there are at least 4 major contenders in the PDP, in the APC, in the Labour Party, and the NNPP. Now, what we as young people are doing is to x-ray these major candidates. Among these major candidates, there are those who are young at heart, as I said, and there are those who understand the challenges that we are going through. Yeah, there are those who know that there is so much high rate of unemployment, economic hardship, and the Japan syndrome that we have, at least we have thousands of Nigerians who are living the shores of this country, not because where they're going to is better, but because they do not believe in the system again. So we have some of them who are young at heart, who understand the challenges of our present day generation, and whose policies and programs are planned to meet the present need of the Nigerian youths. And these are the persons that we are aligning ourselves with. Now, secondly, the first question said, at what point do we understand? Yes, we are living in a global village, and we've seen what is happening among other climes. In the United Kingdom, for instance, look at their prime minister is a young person. Look at in Canada, is a young person. And now we are beginning to see that this thing is possible. Bobby Wine of Uganda, we saw how that young man stood up and challenged the young youth of his country, and everybody supported him. If not for the powers that be, he would have emerged as a president of Uganda. And in America, just recently, a 19-year-old boy was elected a mayor in one of the counties. And we Nigerian youth have come to see that this thing is possible. Of course, it's possible because prior to independence, even after our independence, young people were the one who drive the process, and we even emerged. Evan Nwere was 25 when he moved the motion for Nigeria's independence. And we realized that this thing is possible even in our time across Africa. Even some military coup have taken place, though I'm not giving credence to it, but you see young people like 34, why they're trying to pass a message that they want to take power from the old people. So Nigerian youths having x-rayed what is happening globally, having x-rayed that where we are coming from, and most importantly, with the leadership of 2015 to 2019. Of course, you know that Nigerian youths came out en masse to say, wow, there's so much corruption and ineptitude under the past administration. Billions of naira we are giving to individuals with no accountability. Corruption was at the highest end. And Nigeria, you spoke and elected the current government, but the dispassionate and the lack of and the failure of this present government to utilize that goodwill, the failure of this present government to build on that goodwill, have opened the eyes of Nigeria to say, no, it is no longer a story.
Thank you. Welcome back. We're still here in our studios with our guest, Youth Ambassador Timothy Nwachukwu.
all he's been doing along the line has been to tell us what the youths of Nigeria are doing, what they want to do, and what we will expect of them. We continue with the program. My next question to you borders on the latest that is rampant all over the world now, and that is social media. There is a frenzy in the social media. Everybody is talking about it because the moment you can have an Android, a device on hand, you're free to say anything, hear anything without that element of veracity. You will find out that that word, bad news is good news, sells on social media. Nobody verifies anything. I see something, it's funny to me, it's derogatory to one party A against party B, I am quick to send it out. What do you think in terms of this frenzy and the derogatory aspect of social media, which the youths are so much into? And my second question is, I'll put it in a phrase. Social media does not translate into a human being at the polling unit. Let's take those two.
Well, you're very correct. INEC does not count the number of clicks,
likes or views.
Number of likes, the number of views that we have on social media. What INEC counts is the number of votes that we have casted. And this time around is an electronic vote. So it will be very funny and unimaginable that a young person, that we the youths, will want a better Nigeria, we want a greater Nigeria, we want a nation where we'll have foreign direct investment that will create the job that we need. And yet, on the election day, we will now sit behind our phone, our laptops, and we are there doing analysis. Yes, in the north. Yes, it's going this way. This person is winning. Don't worry, we have won already. It does not work that way. You must. Every vote counts. A vote can make a whole lot of difference. Every vote counts. The message to the young people is this. Of course, even now, I can assure you that the majority of young people will not sit back. Why? There is a reason for young people to come out and vote. Young people are beginning to see that there are some persons that we can believe in. There are some persons that, honestly, these people from their track record, from their antecedents, yes, they've convinced us not to give up on the electoral process, not to give up on the Nigerian project. And because of that, we're not going to sit behind. I can assure you, 2023 election, few months from now, a month plus, a month, yeah.
We're at 38 days, exactly.
Just a month and few, yeah. I can tell you that there will be a difference. Nigerian youths have awoken. Even if you give money to Nigerian youths, they will collect your money and they will vote for that credible candidate of our choice.
Let me throw in another question here. From our own findings, which is part of what we do in the media, there are millions of PVCs uncollected. 1. 2. Our men have been on the road at collection centers, and we found out that most of those present are youths. From our findings, 3. The uncollected PVCs, more than 60% belongs to the youths. For God's sake, what are you doing? Most of you don't do 9 to 5. Your parents do.
I follow up to that question.
Go ahead.
The process, the electoral process. Are you confident that it protects the interests of the youth? Looking at, you mentioned the beavers, looking at the present security challenges, looking at the issue of vote buying. You know, youths, most of them don't have that structure. Some of them don't have that money to sway the votes to their side. But are you confident that the present electoral process will protect the vote of the youths?
Yes. Let me start with the first question. I want to tell you something, sir.
Go ahead.
You talked about, remind me the question, please.
The idea is uncollected PVCs.
No, let me address that. You remember that last year, we had young people who sat at home for more than 7 months because of the ASU strike. Let me start from that area. Many of them went back to their various homes, and many of them registered for the PVC at their various homes.
I think that was a blessing in disguise for
yes.
For the
and
youth.
now we can now see that, of course, school have resumed, and many of them have traveled back to their respective place of abode. Then my message to our young people is this. We must discomfort ourselves now for us to be able to enjoy a better future. You know, when I was preparing for this program, I was like, every young person watching this program should add 20 years to his age. 20 years to your age, find out the age you will be by then. And know that the decision you make now will definitely reflect what will happen at that point in time. Then you were talking about...
What about the electoral process now?
I can assure you that yes, INEC has done creditably well. I said earlier that they have revigorated the faith and hope of our young people in the electoral process. Look at what happened in Osun State. Look at what happened in some of the states. And Anambra, for example. If you bring the money, the young people will collect it. And we will vote for that most credible candidate of our choice. No politician should be deceived to think that because you are bringing money, you want to buy the votes, that young people will now vote for you because of your money. No! We will collect your money. It is our common patrimony. We will collect your money and we will vote for that candidate of our choice. There is no two ways about it. I answered that question, of course. I said there are young people who are running for elections who do not have the structures to win around the country or at the state level. What we've come to do is this. The ones we know that are not realistic, we align with politicians who are young at heart and whose interests and policies and programs will translate to the good of the Nigerian youth. So I can assure you that 2023 election is going to be different from 2019 election, from 2015 election. People have actually suffered in this country, especially the youth. Thousands of them have left the shores of this country. The ones who are remaining will not want things to continue like this. We want a nation that will be very proud of. How much is the dollar rate? Right now in the city of Abuja across Nigeria, there is no fuel. We are one of the largest exporter of petroleum products in this country. The money spent to subsidize fuel in Nigeria is enough to build workable refineries in this country. So why is it that we are not having good governance in Nigeria? So the youth
I like your vehemence. I like your vehemence. I like your vigor. I like your strength. Honestly, as a grandfather, I am praying for the likes of you and the youths of Nigeria to step up and then make Nigeria a better place. Because I believe life is work in progress. Well, let me tell you this, and let me ask you this as a question. In life, there is that element of father-son. When I say father-son, the father inculcates wisdom and intellect into the son. Let me now bring it back into politics. In politics and in life, maybe corporate life or whatever, there is that element of mentor and mentee. There is that element of you being a protege to a higher person. Let me ask you about the youths of Nigeria. I'll tell you this for free. If you don't have mentors up front, if you don't have people you look up to, making that move of getting into the political sphere is going to be difficult. I'll cite you some instances. Let me start from outside because of all these devices that you young guys carry around, you're more conversant with what is happening outside than what is happening in Nigeria. Let me use Obama as an example. Obama was president of America for 8 years. 8 years prior, or even nearly 10, 12 years prior, he was busy following Bill Clinton around. He was understudying Bill Clinton for 12 years. That is what I am trying to tell you. You youth of, if you come to, let's now come to Nigeria. You will find people, they call people, this one is an Aoist because he believes in the ideas of Ao. You call some Zikis because they believe in they are people that, the welfare is along the lines of Ameno Kano. People are there because those were real hardcore political mentors. I can now ask you today, who are your mentors and how are you following the mentors? Because from what we have seen, you guys are going solo. You are really good. We want to do it. We want to do it. You're forgetting the element of politicking is work in progress. You need to understudy before you become it. Let's hear what you youths are doing.
Yes, it is called carrying bank.
whatever name you want to give to it.
Carrying back. If you want to get high, you must carry back for someone.
That language is, I would rather say, learn the ropes. You are understudying.
Definitely, it's still the same thing, but in the local palace, that is what it means. You have to carry back for someone, learn the rope of someone. Just as you rightly cited, someone like Benjamin Azikiwe had the likes of Michael Opara, likes of Njoko, and so many of them who were his mentees. And even one of the presidential aspirant candidates, we've seen so many young people that 20 years ago, they were with him, and we see where they are today. So we cannot remove the issue of mentoring, father-son, mentor-mentee relationship in politics. And this is a wake-up call to every young person who wants to assume the position of leadership. We need the experience and the exposure and the contacts and the connections of our elders who are there. And insulting someone who is ahead of us will not get us to that position. So we can't achieve what we want by insulting those who are ahead of us. It's not enough to say that this person has been there. No. That person who is there like a collusion over the years, we must find out the secret. And I'm using this medium to call on all young people across Nigeria. Instead of you to cast aspersion, instead of you to complain, instead of you to badmouth, instead of you to speak ill of a political leader, why not go closer and volunteer to learn? The problem we have is this: we want to make quick money. We just want to get into government. We want to go and get the cut of our national cake without passing through the process. For us to make it, for us to grow, for us to be able to achieve what we want in leadership, we must pass through process. The problem of Nigeria today is accidental leadership, and that must end beginning from 2023. As we have a new crop of leaders that will emerge, there will be room for special assistants to be appointed. There will be room for senior special assistants, executive assistants, special advisors. And I want to plead with the new crop of leaders that will emerge. Please, you have to carry the young people along. Give them some sort of responsibility. And I will tell you, there are so many young people like us who have prepared ourselves over the years and keep developing. We will not fail. We will not falter. We will not disappoint. The confidence that will repose on us. So I'm making a passionate plea to my colleagues, my fellow youths, please, you cannot get to a desired position by insulting people who are occupying them. No, we must go and learn and find out what is the secret. Sometimes politics is about patience. You may aspire for position now, you will not get it. But you can plan that in the next 10 years, in the next 7 years, in the next 4 years. So we must not get everything now. We must follow the...
At that juncture, let me ask you a very, very personal question you can afford not to answer. Are you running for a political post?
For now, I am supporting those who are running for a political post.
That's good enough.
All right, let's look at the campaigns. The campaigns are already ongoing, and so many reports from different areas. Yesterday we heard that one of the presidential candidates was denied access to a particular venue in the south-west, but we are not talking about that. We are talking about the violence being recorded in these venues of political rallies, especially, like we said, the youth are being used to perpetrate these violence. So what's your advice to these youths that allow themselves to be used as political talks? Because like we said, if we don't get it right now, we'll just be going round cycle. Everybody's just after what they get immediately. If you look at the rate of crime, some persons will tell you that these old politicians we're talking about were the one that equipped these thugs with weapons, and now they cannot get it back. And we are seeing that playing out in some political rallies now. So what is your own take on this?
I must be honest and fair to young people. There are two classes of violence you witness at the election or campaign ground. There are those that are engineered by youths who are disenchanted by politicians who have deceived them. I'll give you a scenario. In Delta State, a serving House of Representative member wanted to go to a community to go and campaign. The youths blocked the way and told him to go back. You have been there for many years and you've not brought any dividend of democracy to us. Look at our roads, are impassable. You don't even move motion, you don't sponsor me. You're not doing anything for us. And you want to come to deceive us again. In fact, they even stoned him. That is part of the violence we're talking about. So that is from the youth who are disenchanted by failed politicians who want to come and deceive them again. It's happening in Anambra State and of course in some other places. And then we'll have another class of youths Some of these people are less informed. Some of these people follow the crowd. Some of these people are the gullible ones who allow themselves to be used by these politicians. And this message is directed to them. I wish I could speak in all the Nigerian languages and I'll be able to tell our young people in our various dialects that you must not give in to those politicians who arm you to go and destroy things. Why? Because their children will not be armed. Their children will not lead the battle from the front. So it is a wake-up call from us young people. You must make sure that 2023 is different. Do not allow yourself to be used as a talk, as a political talk to disrupt the electoral process. You must fight for the right thing, fight for the just thing, fight to secure our youth by ensuring that you vote rightly, to ensure that we have a better tomorrow.
Thank you. You've been able, I like what you're doing. You're sharing your vehemence, your attitude with the average Nigerian. That is a good one. That is what we need. Because most of our youth, like I said earlier, all they do is pick up devices and start bantering. Social media banters, they think that is going to count. You've told them here and now that their presence is needed at the polling booth. One more question. How do you mobilize them on a local basis? When I say local, on a voting day, you're supposed to stay within your own vicinity and go to the PU, that's a polling unit, that is just walking distance from your house. How do you tell your people to use your language and what you said earlier, to disengage themselves from that phone? Put the phone down or put it in your pocket, pick up your PVC and walk to that PU. Because most of them are lazy. They will say, oh, it's sunny. Oh, I can't go and queue. I'd rather be here. I will do my own on social media. How do you move them? That is a factor.
Yes, thank you very much for this question. I can tell you that, sir, we are already reaching out. In fact, this Christmas gave an opportunity to engage with so many young people and to pass the message across to them. We use several means, including, using sound system to create awareness, various groups. Don't worry. Don't worry about the growing number of young people who are cyberbullying people online. Don't worry, I can assure you that on the election day, the youth will come out. They will not stay in their house because, just like Obama said, change that we can believe in, candidates that we can trust, candidates that will have confidence. Now, it's not like before. Young people they are seeing candidates that they can trust, that we can trust. And I can assure you, we know now, and so many youths know, that we cannot achieve credible, good governance by sitting back on election day, by playing football, or by staying at home, watching movie, or doing other things. No, or watching football on election day. We know that that is in the past. Please do not judge us with the past.
Thank you.
From this moment, from this coming election, things are going to be.
Thank you very much. Time is not on our side. And to you, our viewers back at home, that has been our youth ambassador, Timothy Nwachukwu. From the way he talked, you must have seen the fact that he is very, very, very passionate about the Project Nigeria. And he knows that Project Nigeria depends on you, the youths. The thing is, make sure you drop your phones, pick up your PVCs, and go out there and vote. My brother, thank you for coming to the program. Some other time we'll bring you back here, because you are the youths. You keep growing and you keep telling us what your people are going to do.